the general consensus from Egyptologists about the pyramid being a tomb is pretty astonishing.
It's ridiculous.
I think even more ridiculous is the idea that the serapium boxes were coffins for like bulls or horses.
No, that's ridiculous. There was the reason why they say that is they found a bull sacrifice by the later Egyptians that was mummified and placed outside the serapium. Mm-hmm. You have to remember that when the Egyptians found the serapium, because they found it, right? And they were blown away by it, right?
How could you not be?
I mean,
those boxes are too big to even move through those hallways.
That's exactly right.
They fill up the entire hallway, and those things weigh like 1,000 tons each.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you get those in there?
How do you get them down there? How do you move them? How do you get the lids off?
Right.
How do you and how and they're dendrite. They are the hardest granite that there is, and the Egyptians had copper tools. They couldn't have made those.
Right.
There's no way.
Copper and
they're so precise. They're so precise that so when the Egyptians found it, they tried to preserve the site. It was what they did. They did everything they could to try to preserve it. They would go and they would worship there. They would even eat the dirt. You can see the areas around it where they dug out the dirt to eat because they thought it had magical qualities. But
there's photos of Chris Dunn inside those boxes with a square tool, like holding the square tool to the corners.
Totally precise.
Totally perfectly square inside.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the outsides aren't as perfect.
Right. Yeah, and you tell me how you even drill out the inside of that box. You'd need a diamond drill, and then it would have to be so precise. I mean, so I'm under the opinion. Now, there's different people that have different opinions about what those boxes were for. I think those boxes were, they were like a survival shelter. It's where they kept.
Yeah, look at that shit, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So precise.
Jesus Christ.
You can almost see the reflection in the stone. It's so you can see the reflection in the stone.
It's literally reflecting him. It's so polished.
It's so polished. And, we would be hard-pressed to be able to do that today.
And it looks like the carvings on the outside, if you look at the precision of the work they did on those boxes and how much engineering and knowledge and skill had to go into creating those. And then you look at the carvings, the Egyptian carvings that are on the outside. It's like graffiti. It looks like toddlers came along with crayons afterwards and tried to draw on the outsides of these masterpieces.
That's exactly right. Yeah, they're unbelievable. We go down there for sure and explore them and look at the areas where you can see, where there's still remnants of the hydrofluoric acid that I'm sure was used to help create it. Mm-hmm. To help carve them, but I think it's my opinion that these were a pre-cataclysm technology that was created to store grains and other things for after the cataclysm.
You think that's what this was for?
Yeah, it absolutely.
But then why would it have to be so precise just to store grains?
I think they just had the technology to do it. They wanted.
You think it was so easy for them?
It was easy for them. Yeah, it was easy for them, and they had to make them so heavy to ensure that they survived the cataclysm, right? I mean, you have to remember if we're talking about the Younger Dryas, and I believe that there was shall we say, probably comet fragments that were hitting the Earth at that time.
Do you think it was the Younger Dryas or maybe before the Younger Dryas?
Well, the civilization was pre-Younger Dryas.
Pre-Younger Dryas, right.
But then the Younger Dryas cataclysm is what they were trying to preserve everything from.
Right, because with the Younger Dryas cataclysm, would that have impacted Egypt that much? Because that basically wiped out all the megafauna on North America, right? It hit the North American ice sheet.
I think it hit the entire north. I think it was hitting in northern Europe too.
Because Africa, all the giant animals and the giant megafauna they all survived, but there's nothing like that in the U.S.
Correct. In fact, and I'll tell you something else that I believe, and I say when I say it's me, but it's also the Templar tradition has passed on. Is the belief that the Valley of the Kings is, most people think of them as just these tombs that are built out of the side of the mountain, right? Which is true, but all of those tombs are actually connected by tunnels that go way down into the earth. And I believe that area was originally those were originally survival bunkers from the cataclysm, and that later they came out of that, and the pharaohs preserved the memory of originally coming out of there. And so, because all of that stuff, I mean, those tunnels, it would have taken thousands of people to carve all of that out.
Right.
And if you're trying to keep a place a secret, that'd be pretty dumb, right? To employ thousands of people to carve this whole place out, because it's not going to remain a secret.
Yeah.
I think it already existed. And what the secret was is the pharaohs passed on the memory of it. And so they went back there and started burying themselves there to hide, because they're trying to be buried close to where their ancestors first came out of there after the cataclysm. And the reason why I believe this is because in many of the tombs to this day, they still have depictions of things that they shouldn't have known about. There are Egyptian tombs, and I can pull up pictures of this for you too, that show bearded white dudes, these tall, giant bearded white dudes with red beards, with baby woolly mammoths on leashes and giant sloths on leashes. The Egyptians shouldn't have known about woolly mammoths or giant sloths, right?
Right.
Those were animals that existed prior to the cataclysm and went extinct after the cataclysm.
Right. After Younger Dryas.
Right. So what are they doing them, depicting them on Egyptian temple walls? And let me give you I'll give you a picture of that.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Chris Dunn's pyramid power plant theory?
Yes.
The Giza power plant?
Yep.
Super, super compelling. And the fact that he's an engineer and understands how these things works and build, jet engines, and his whole point is that precision is the product of function, right? Precision comes from function. You don't need precision unless you're trying to achieve some sort of functional goal.
Right.
So why would all of these things be so precise in the Great Pyramid, and unless it was designed to actually do something, right?
Yep. Well, check this out. The king's coffer in the Great Pyramid, the inside dimensions of that king's coffer are the exact same dimensions as the outer dimensions as the Ark of the Covenant that's described in the Bible. So if we remember that these arcs are electrostatic capacitors, they were in all the temples of Egypt, right? And if you put mana in it, which was a superconductive substance, is this monoatomic elements. It produces tremendous amount of power. Well, if you're to put that in the pyramid, right, in the king's chamber, in the king's coffer, in the pyramid,
yeah,
the pyramid itself is just from the weight of the granite pressing on it is piezoelectric.
Yes, this is one of the things that Chris Dunn explained to me when he came on here. Was he had a NASA physicist, Dr. Friedman Freund, I think his name was.
Yep.
Who showed experiments of squeezing these giant granite pillars and being able, and they put an electrode on one end of it, and then they used a hydraulic press to squeeze the other end of the granite, and it created electricity.
Yep, that's right. And the fact that the pyramids on the Giza Plateau, which is a seismically active
part of the Earth, the idea is that the electrons from deep inside the Earth, if there was an earthquake, or if his idea was that there was like a hydraulic hammer inside the subterranean chamber that would basically hammer the Earth and create these mini earthquakes, that basically shot up these electrons into the pyramid, charged all of the granite and limestone in the pyramid, and that somehow combined with chemicals going in the shafts of the Queen's chamber, then going up through, resonating through the Grand Gallery. The combination of this charged granite with all the electrons, the sound that was coming through the Grand Gallery, and the chemical combustion that was happening inside the Queen's chamber created some sort of crazy reaction in the King's chamber that utilized those laser or masers, those shafts that go out of the King's chamber out, and that somehow, according to his theory, would be a way to provide a free energy for whatever civilization was there.
Yep, I think. Well, I think there might be something to that. I also think, though, it doesn't even have to be that complicated. I mean, you have right now, if you were to stand on top of the Great Pyramid with just take a wine bottle and you put a wet rag on it and hold it up, sparks will start shooting off.
What?
Yeah, just from the natural generation of the static electricity that's built up from the desert and through the pyramid. So if you were to put an arc, which is designed to literally build up static electricity with this superconductive substance right in the center of it, it's going to generate a ton of electricity to broadcast in the region. And in fact, let's look at the word pyramid itself. Pyramid literally means fire. Mid means middle. So fire in the middle. That's literally what pyramid means, right?
Wasn't there like some sort of, it looks like there's something missing from the top of it. Like there was a capstone.
Yeah, there was a capstone.
Or like a metal thing on top maybe.
Yeah, I think that there's different theories that the the top capstone. So here's the pictures of see the woolly mammoth.
Oh yeah.
And the giant sloth on leashes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and if you go to
can you zoom out a little bit on that?
Yeah,
what do the people look like?
Yeah, there's another
Okay.
There's another picture I just sent him that's the same image without my hand in it, but you can see the people.
Oh wow.
See, there's these tall white dudes with red beards. This is in one of the tombs in Egypt, right in the Valley of the Kings, right. Clearly, the pharaohs never saw woolly mammoths and giant sloths. So clearly, they were trying to preserve the memory of these things from the previous time, which was known as the Zep Tepi, the original time.
Yeah,
So prior to the